Hello and a warm welcome to this video. I am Darina. I am one of the radiography students at University of Plymouth. And today the purpose of this video is going to be to give you a better insight as to what it's like to be a radiography student and sort of what is the day-to-day life of a radiography student. I know when I was in your position last year, I was dying to know sort of what I'll be up to from Monday to Friday. And actually I struggled to make this video a little bit because no day for us really during the week is the same. But I decided to focus sort of on a typical Monday and a typical sort of Thursday for us because those are very different days for us currently. So I'll start with sort of what a typical Monday for us would look like. So Mondays, I would say, are our most lecture-heavy days, but you'll be mostly based in the Portland Square building. Lectures can sort of vary from, for example, patient-centered care to patient pathways to imaging modalities. So that's looking at the different types of radiography you can have. So going from sort of plain film radiography to CT radiography, MRI and ultrasound, and sort of look at sort of each benefits and negatives. And really it's just its purposes in the clinical sort of world. You know, you could be looking at physics behind x-rays, and then sort of your next lecture could be looking at the anatomy and physiology. I personally think it's actually quite good that we have many different modules covered in one day. It sort of keeps you engaged throughout because, well, unfortunately our brains just don't seem to focus on one similar topic for long periods of time, as well as actually having university lecturers sort of lead your sort of day-to-day lectures. We also have many different external clinical lecturers come in and lead our sessions. So this sort of just allows you to see that how diverse sort of the healthcare world is and how it's all linked together, and each one of them sort of give their sort of own insight, sort of top tips how to sort of be around in a hospital environment. So that's quite good. Where possible, the lectures are made quite interactive. So for example, if I take our anatomy lessons, they are probably the most, I'd say, interactive on a Monday. You know, you'll be working with different sort of models that are in the LSRC, that's just a sort of an area in the Portland Square building. Of course, we'll have access to the 3 incredible anatomage tables. As sort of a fun fact for the day, radiography students, as it goes, we are the only ones, I believe, in the country and actually in the whole of Europe who get to use these incredible anatomage tables. They basically allow you to cut open a body and it helps you learn sort of gross anatomy and see how sort of like nervous system works, how it's all linked, the vasculature system. I find it more helpful than sort of sitting and staring at a textbook, rote learning everything. Here you actually sort of see the relationship between everything. We can also have live human models coming in. This is called surface anatomy. So you get board pens and you get to draw on these people. And again, this is as real as it gets. You palpate, sort of feel for the different landmarks in the body, which you will be doing in the real world. It also gets you sort of more used to patient contact. You know, it can be sort of very strange at first and uncomfortable with sort of touching different people. It's not something we normally do, so it's quite normal to feel a little bit uncomfortable with that at first. It sort of becomes second nature. Hopefully this already shows a little bit about what sort of our days could look like. Even sort of on what I call lecture day, Mondays, it's still quite diverse. And you're not just sort of sitting there at the back. You really do get involved, which is fantastic. I think it's the best way of learning. It just gets incorporated in your head so much better. If you think about it, radiography is all about sort of getting up close with people. You're constantly going to be interacting with people. So this course is very much so focused on that and tailored to that. That's ultimately what sort of your employers are looking for. So on a typical Thursday, you would be catching the bus to Derriford and going to Nuffield and the radiology academy called Penra. This is a very much so interactive day. You'll be pretty much up on your feet the whole day. At Nuffield, you will have access to the fluoroscopy room there, and you will actually be taking x-rays. Unfortunately, we can't do x-rays on real people due to the health and safety reasons, radiation protection. You will be using our Phantom, human-sized and weight Phantom called Tango. By getting to use Tango, you will have a fantastic opportunity to practice your patient positioning. Things such as correct, for example, like collimation, which is simply put, being able to regulate your sort of patient dose and your image quality. I won't ruin the fun for you. You'll find out once you start the course. Later throughout the year, actually you have an opportunity to work with real model patients. Again, you won't be taking x-rays on them, but you will be learning sort of the more patient interaction side with it all. You'll eventually understand that not every patient that sort of presents to you in the imaging department will sort of nicely do as you ask them to do. You would understand that patients will be presenting to you in pain, unable to move certain body parts, and it will be up to you, the radiographer, to be able to adapt to each situation and sort of think outside of the box when needed. At Penra, you will be using a computer system called Shaderware. This again is further sort of practice in correct patient positioning, collimation, choosing correct exposure factors. Basically, what you do at Nuffield, you do at Penra, but this will be virtually, and you can take hundreds and hundreds of x-rays without worrying about radiation. I will also briefly mention about our placements. Usually, sort of your first placements will take place in October. This will be a week of placements, experiencing different departments. And then depending on how sort of groups are broken down, you'll have placements every other Friday, 9 to 5 day, getting sort of a feel for the hospital environment and getting that patient interaction, practicing those communication skills and sort of incorporating everything that you've learnt in class sort of out in a more real world. I know I have previously also mentioned about going to Derriford by bus. Don't worry, the university will be providing you with bus passes on your university ID cards. There will be bus sort of symbol on one of the corners of the cards, and you just show that to the bus drivers and they let you in. I would also like to sort of mention about the transition to university, or for some maybe going back to university. I personally came straight away from a sixth form, so for me it wasn't anything shocking. It wasn't a shock to the system in terms of sort of the academic side of things. Just the only difference for me was sort of bigger rooms and more sort of interactive lessons, which is fantastic. The only real, I'd say, sort of a new and different way of teaching for me was the clinical side of things. That of course you don't get at school or sixth form. So this for me was something new, but I got used to it quite quickly. And as I've said before, it's just a fantastic way of teaching. Sort of everything that you learn, all the theory gets incorporated in your head so much better, and you actually understand sort of everything that you learn in class, how it applies to practice. Because I think sometimes, especially back in school, you'd have people saying, oh, what's the point of this? I'm never going to use this. Here, you really do see that everything you learn is very much so relevant and you will be using in clinical practice. So I've given you an insight, sort of the transitioning between school, what was it, sixth form to university. One of my colleagues, she will give you sort of a better understanding if you're a mature student, sort of not coming directly from school to university. Hopefully she will answer a few questions for you there.
Hi, my name's Kirsty. I'm currently a first year Diagnostic Radiography student here at Plymouth University. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about why I chose Plymouth, what I like about the course, and hopefully it will help you make a decision too. I primarily chose Plymouth as I live in Cornwall. I can't relocate, so when I heard that they were running this programme at Plymouth, I jumped at the chance as I wouldn't be able to travel to study anywhere else. I do like how modern the degree is. We get to share our facilities with the medicine and dentistry school, so we get a lot of their resources. When it comes to anatomy, we get to have some activities in the classroom done on iPads. We have life models, and we also get to use the anatomage table, which is a live dissection table, so it helps solidify your anatomy learning. I like how the fact that we're on placements from September, we're out straight away, which helps with your communication skills. It helps with talking to members of staff in the hospital, patients. And I think that's very important when you're going into radiography, especially at the moment with, the COVID-19 crisis. If we had had to wait for a big block of placements at the end of the year, we would have missed out this year. So that would have had a big impact on our studies. So the fact that we are doing a little bit each week rather than at the end of the year has really helped us. I like how the lecturers that we have, most of them work at Derriford. Our personal tutors work at Derriford. My personal tutor is a reporting radiographer. Our other teacher is a diagnostic radiographer there in CT. So you're being taught by people in the field that are doing that job day in, day out. So they're teaching you from their perspective, which I really, I find that really helps. And it's also good when you're on placement, because the people who are teaching you, you then get to see them in work. So if you do have any questions or you're worried about anything, someone is normally there to help you. One of my worries when I was looking at starting this degree is, I am classed as a mature student. I'm not a school leaver. So I was a little bit worried about the group of people that would be on the course, if I, was going to fit in, or, if I was just too old. But it's a nice mixture of school leavers, access course students, and the fact that we are such a small group, I think we all get on quite well. So yeah, that hasn't really impacted my studies at all, really. I think we all help each other out when we need it. But yeah, that's my view on studying diagnostic radiography at Plymouth. I hope it's helped, and good luck with your applications, and maybe we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you.
So I would just like to say a huge thank you for watching this, for listening to me, and hopefully this actually answers some questions that maybe some of you had. At least maybe gives you an insight sort of what your day might look like. So hopefully I've done my job. Once again, a huge thank you, and I'm really hoping to see some of you potential students next academic year. Please feel free to find any of us and just go up to us and ask any questions you might have, because it can be scary, and but please don't worry. We're all a nice bunch, and hopefully also there will be some radiography societies set up for next academic year. And there's also a Facebook chat that you will be able to join, and of course you can fire away any sort of burning questions there. So yes, hopefully I shall see you next year, and good luck.